Oh my God, hi! Wow, it has been a hot minute, hasn't it? And it's literally been 2 years since we've uploaded our last episode, and I have so much to say, so much to tell you. So much has changed, and to the point where I had to actually write down everything I wanted to tell you guys because there's just been that much that's happened in the last 2 years. So if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes to make sure that I don't miss anything because there's just that much. So, I'm glad I wrote it down because I'm like, where do I even begin? There's friendship drama. I got engaged and I got married. Ooh, to Blop. Who knew? Blop was the one. And I'm going to tell you all about it. And some career meltdowns. I'm still a massage therapist by the grace of God. But it's been a journey the last couple of years. And there was at least one dramatic exit. So I'm going to tell you all about it today. Can't wait to share all of this with you. I'm so happy to be back. But as you can see, something or someone is missing. Amanda. I rebranded the podcast to be Laura Logic because it's just me now. Amanda and I are still friends, so don't get your panties in a twist. Don't panic. Amanda is fine. We're still friends. The friendship is fine. The dynamic has just changed a bit. Life was really lifey, and for her, it is still lifing. And, because I got married, things have changed, and this just makes more sense. But knowing us, knowing her, knowing me, she's probably going to make a surprise pop-up guest star appearance eventually. If you hear chomping in the background, it's my dog chomping on her toy. And I don't want to take it away because it keeps her busy, and without it, she'll be a crackhead. So, we'll just ignore it. Hopefully the mic isn't even picking it up, and then I just sound like a crazy person right now, but I'm okay with that. So, I got engaged. Let's talk about it. Taylor is his real name. We're not going to call him Blop anymore. I can use my husband's real name, and he'll probably make an appearance soon too. Maybe in the next episode. We'll see. The fun is in the mystery. So, we dated for almost a year. We started dating in January. He proposed the following December 17th. And it was really sweet. We had talked about a timeline. Around our 5th date, we were talking about how this was the real deal. We weren't dating to waste each other's time. And, this is what we wanted. We wanted this to be it, right? So, we were talking about, where in the future things would happen. And I said that I wanted to date for at least a year, and I wanted to be engaged for at least a year. So we ended up picking out our wedding date on our 5th date, which, plot twist, was not the date that we got married, but it's okay. We'll get there. So, the date that we picked originally was December 13th. Now, if you know anything about wedding planning, if you have planned a wedding, if you have been a bride, you know that if you want a venue, you have to book it pretty much at least a year in advance. And, Taylor proposed December 17th, and we had picked December 13th. So, obviously, that date wasn't going to work. We also quickly realized that, I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but we quickly realized that Saturdays are expensive. So, we ended up getting married on a Tuesday. But, let's go back to the proposal. Like I said, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, kind of. Knowing that I wanted to get married in December, January, in the wintertime, I knew that he would propose probably somewhere in the wintertime. So I told him that I would prefer if he would propose in front of Christmas lights. And that's exactly what he did. Now, I knew that there was, we had a couple things planned in the month of December. So in the back of my mind, I knew it had to be one of these two things. One of them was a double date with my friend and her fiance. And, well, her now fiance. And the other one was a hockey game. And I told him, do not propose to me in a hockey game. There's too many people. I don't mind being proposed to in public, but a hockey game is too much. So, we're getting ready to go on this double date. And I'm like, it's going to happen, isn't it? And he tells me, it's not happening tonight. Do not get your hopes up, because it is not happening. So the whole time, I'm like, why am I here? All dressed up, dolled up. Why am I here? And before that, we had gone to see the Nutcracker Ballet, something I do every single year. It's one of my favorite traditions. And I really thought that he was going to propose that night because it was just the two of us, romantic date. And he asked me afterwards, hey, do you want to go to downtown in the square and see the Christmas lights? And I was like, yeah, playing it cool. Of course, yeah, let's just go pop by and see the Christmas lights. And in my head, I'm going, oh my God, it's happening. And then we get there, and I had taken my shoes off because they were uncomfortable. So he's like, do you want to get out and look at the lights? And I said, yeah, let me just put my shoes on real quick. And he was like, he's like, it's okay. It's not that deep. We'll just look at him from the truck. And I was like, it's not happening tonight. Bummed. And then we leave, and I'm like, can we get McDonald's? Because I needed some comfort food. Because I was very disappointed. And he knew exactly what he did. I said, that was not nice. He's like, what? And I was like, you knew. You knew that you were teasing me, making me think that you were going to propose. He was like, maybe a little. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. I won't do that again. So, considering the fact that he said he wouldn't do that again, I knew that the next time we go look at Christmas lights was going to be when it happened. But we had this date planned with the intention of looking at Christmas lights. So, my friend, she asked me, what's the vibe for tonight? What are you wearing? And I sent her a picture of this like long sleeve t-shirt with horizontal black and white stripes. And she said, trash, garbage, throw it away. Absolutely not. And I was like, since when do you care what I wear? She's like, well, I want it to be cute. And I want us to be like matchy-matchy. So we should be matchy-matchy. And I'm like, you don't normally care about this stuff. But okay, I'll humor you. So then I picked out a different outfit. And I drive to Taylor's parents' house, which is 30 minutes from my parents' house. And I get there and he's not ready. We have a reservation. We're running late. He also knows what's happening. Maybe that's why he wasn't ready. He was nervous. He wanted to look good. So we finally make it to the restaurant. We eat our dinner. At this particular restaurant, it's more of like a slower service. Like, you go there to be there. You don't go there to just grab a bite and leave. So, service is slow. We're running late. The waiter asks if we want dessert. I love dessert. And so does my friend. And she says, no, thank you. And I said, are you okay? Why are you saying no to dessert? You never say no to dessert. She goes, oh, I'm just so full. And I was like, bullshit. I know that's a lie. Are you not feeling well? Are you getting sick? She goes, I don't know, maybe. In hindsight, if she'd just eaten the dessert with me, we would have finished it faster. Because I decide, I don't care if you don't want dessert. I don't care if nobody else wants dessert. I want dessert. I don't know what's happening. They all know what's happening. So we should have just split a dessert with the four of us, and it would have gone 4 times as fast. But that's okay. In the meantime, Taylor is texting the photographer that he hired. We're running late. She wants dessert. I'm so sorry. Photographer was pretty cool about it. We get to the square, and to me, it's just this random guy. He says, hey guys, I'm taking photos for the holidays. Just to be nice. And I'm like, that's freaking weird. No. So he asked if we want a photo. My friend and her now fiance said sure. And And I'm like, that's weird. Why would you let a stranger take your photo with his big fancy camera? And so they take a couple photos, and then he asks us, and I'm gonna say no. And Taylor just pipes up and says, yeah, sure, we'll take a couple photos. So I'm like, this is so weird. We're posing in front of the Christmas tree, and then he takes a couple photos, and he says, come look at them. And I look at them, and they're really good photos. And I literally said to this man, these are really good. You should be a professional photographer. And then I turn around, and there's Taylor on one knee. Total surprise. Loved every second of it. Then, in that moment, the entire day plays back in my head. Me not wanting to dress up, me giving everybody a hard time about wearing makeup, me getting dessert, running late, almost not saying yes to the photographer, and because I've replayed all of this in my head, I laughed in his face. Not a ha ha ha, it was a full-on cackle. A ha ha ha, right in his face. Maybe I'll just add the clip here. Enjoy.
Is that a yes? There you go.
So I can't believe I did that. It was so funny, and it was so genuine and elated. We're both elated, and my ring is so pretty. Well, it's my wedding band now, but he got the whole set. I told him I wanted Art Deco, sent him a few ideas. This is what he picked. He did great. Live, laugh, love it. So now we can talk about the wedding. It was a beautiful wedding. Planning my own wedding has been a dream of mine for a very long time, and I got to do it. It was so stressful, and I will never, ever, ever plan a wedding for myself ever again. Maybe one day when I have a daughter that gets married, which will be like, I don't know, at least 25 years from now, I'll probably be cooled off by then in 25 years to plan another wedding. But I will never plan my own wedding again. It was the most stressful, but it was the best day. It turned out amazing. And so yeah, that photographer that did our photos at the proposal, he also did our engagement photos. And then unfortunately, after the engagement photos, we had to fire him. He was supposed to do our wedding photos, but the communication was just awful, and the professionalism was just not good. So, I'm not going to say who it was, obviously, because I'm not trying to ruin anybody's business. I just didn't have a good experience with him. And it was a decision that Taylor and I made together. So, yeah, and we got another photographer, and she's great. She did our wedding photos. And maybe I'll just pop a couple here for you to see. She just did an amazing job. And the other crazy thing with the wedding planning was the DJ. Now, I'm not blaming anybody in this situation, because it truly was just completely out of everybody's control. And so I have to be careful how I phrase this, again, because I'm not trying to ruin anybody's business. But Taylor has a family member who was a pastor at the time and was also a DJ on the side. And he's still a DJ, but he stopped being a pastor. He got a new job, so then he wasn't able to come to the wedding at all. Just because we got married on a Tuesday and he started a new job. If anybody here has ever started a new job, then you know that you can't really take time off when you're like fresh. And that's okay. life happens. So because of that, we lost our officiant and our DJ, like a few months before the wedding. And I'm like, we gotta find somebody. These are two important jobs. One we can't get married without, one we can't have any dancing. So I told my dad what happened, and he's giving me ideas. And then I just kind of like jokingly said, and if all else fails, Dad, you can be our plan C. And he was like, oh. He's like, I'm glad to see where I stand. I was like, well, if you want to be our plan A, you can be our plan A. And he's like, Laura, what a dream that would be, to walk my daughter down the aisle and they get to marry her. And I was like, Dad, say less. You're hired. So that's how we found our officiant. My dad married us, and that was like the best. This is the first time he's ever done anything like this. He literally became a notary just for me, which is so sweet. And he messed up so many times, but it was hilarious, and it literally made the day. For example, sorry, Dad, I'm embarrassing you a little. For example, we wanted him to read some scripture from Ecclesiastes, and he pronounced it Ecclesiastes. Just silly stuff like that. And then the other thing, when we were saying our vows, instead of telling Taylor to say to have and to hold, he said to have and behold. Behold, I am your wife. So yeah, it was just super cute. Loved every second of it. Having my dad officiate really was like the best decision I think I made for the wedding, aside from my husband. My husband's my number one choice, for sure, time and time again. So then we get to the DJ. I am doing research. By now, like I said, it was just a few months before the wedding. So everything's already been booked. Deposits have been paid. There's not much wiggle room in our budget at this point. So I rework our catering menu to get a little bit more wiggle room. So we can have, at least some money set aside for the DJ. And I'm contacting DJs, talking to all these guys, getting decision fatigue, sick of wedding planning at this point. And this DJ reaches out to me, sends me his packages, sends me the pricing, and I send him an email back and I say, I really appreciate your time, but you are way out of our budget. And he made it work. He said, Laura, it's a Tuesday. This is bonus money for me. Let's just make it happen. And he was able to kind of create a custom package that was within our budget. And he was an amazing DJ. I will tell you who this guy is because he is worth every penny. It's Tony with Platinum Entertainment. He's based in Tampa. Yes, he's based in Tampa. But he does travel for a fee. So if you're having a wedding, he works in New York too. So if you're having a wedding and you need a great DJ, Tony's your guy. Love that guy. And he just had a baby. So congratulations to him and his wife. All right, what is next to talk about? There is so much. Oh, my bridesmaids. Yikes. So I had 3 bridesmaids and I'm not friends with any of them. Woo, let's just spill the tea. Let's just dump it out on the floor there. Weddings really do bring out the best or the worst. It's like funerals, it's either the best version or the worst version of people. Now, I would like to think that I wasn't much of a bridezilla. I asked several people if I was a bridezilla. My mom said a little bit during one specific moment. And this one specific moment, I think, is why my bridesmaids all got mad at me. They left me at the Airbnb that we all got ready at to go to the venue. And they didn't tell me that they were leaving. And I got upset about that. And then they got upset that I got upset. They felt like I didn't appreciate them. And then they mentioned that there were other things that they were upset with me about, but then didn't really mention it. And after trying to communicate with them, nobody wanted to actually communicate with me like an adult. So then I did some reflection on the friendships and realized that they just hadn't been the greatest friendships in the first place. And so I made the decision to just end the friendships. And I don't have any regrets on that. I am grateful that they were there for me. My photos look really good because they're really pretty. They did, my maid of honor did a lot. That was the friend that we went on the double date with. She was there when we got engaged. She helped me with a lot of wedding planning. She was my maid of honor. She did all of her maid of honor duties. And, I considered her my best friend. And, and Amanda was not a bridesmaid. She was supposed to be a bridesmaid, but because of those lifey things, she wasn't able to make it to the wedding, which is okay. I'm not mad about it at all. Completely understand why she wasn't there. Totally wish it would have been her instead of who I chose. But life is what it is. And, because I have peace with my decision, I look back on my wedding photos and I can still enjoy looking at them. I'm not bitter about anything. It just is what it is. And, maybe in another episode I can dive a little bit deeper into these details. Maybe I can spill the tea on why I think that the friendships were not good in the first place. But at this point, I don't know how to say it as like a story time rather than being like, they suck. And I don't want to be that person. So maybe in a future episode, we'll just dive into those story times. There's quite a few. And that's why I decided not to be their friends anymore, because there are quite a few stories. So yeah, we talked about my dad's mess ups at the ceremony. We'll talk about the wedding a little bit more, aside from the bridesmaids. And I know you guys are probably wondering what my favorite moment was. And I think my dad's mess ups were my favorite moment. Like, that just really made the wedding what it was. But also being at the reception and dancing, just being like really surrounded by my loved ones and my new family, and we were all just celebrating together. It really was like the best moment. I was on cloud 9, elated, and it still feels surreal. We just got married this past January, so it's been 4 months, and the wedding, even though it's been 4 months, I'm still kind of riding that high, still in the honeymoon phase. It was a wonderful time. We got married, and that's super exciting, super fun. I love being married, and but like any wedding, things did go wrong. 2 major events happened, and I'm going to tell you about them. The first one is, we're going to call him Sparkler Boy. I don't actually know his real name, so we're just calling him Sparkler Boy because I don't remember his name. So my maid of honor was supposed to be in charge of my sparkler exit. She was fully prepared. But Sparkler Boy, who worked at the venue, decided that he was going to be in charge of my sparkler exit. And my maid of honor decided that she was just not going to step on anybody's toes because he works there. So she's just sitting back watching. We're inside. We're waiting for everybody to get their sparklers. We're also waiting inside because Taylor's not supposed to see that there's a limo waiting for us. Plot twist. He already knew about it because my bridesmaid had a big mouth and said it out loud, and he overheard her. That one specific bridesmaid did a lot the wedding weekend to sabotage quite a few things. She's just not a nice person. So another reason why we're not friends. I digress. Okay, We're waiting inside the venue. Everybody's outside. We just did our private dance. We're on cloud 9. We're waiting for everybody to get their sparklers. Sparkler boy is holding the sparklers in his hand, like 30 of them. And I'm thinking, okay, he's holding them. He's about to pass them out, and then they're going to light them. Not what happened. Nay. He lit all 30 of them at the same time. Do you know what happens when you light flammable things on fire? They combust into fire. So he's holding a torch, and you know sparklers just have that little skinny metal thing, you know? They got hot, and apparently he burned both of his hands badly. I don't wish ill on anybody, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And I literally said to Taylor, he's not gonna. And then literally he did. And I was like, oh my god, he did. So he puts them in the bucket of sand really quick, which also, I was not aware I was supposed to supply a bucket of sand. I was not aware of anything. I asked the director of events, can I have a sparkler exit? She said, yes, you have to supply your own sparklers. And that was the end of the conversation. Wasn't in my contract. Nobody told me that I was supposed to have somebody from my team. And this was a conversation that we had after the wedding. She told me I was supposed to have somebody from my team. I told her that my maid of honor was fully prepared to do it. And then she said that it was because I didn't supply a lighter. Guys, let me tell you what my wedding favors were. Let me just tell you, okay? Because this is going to make you laugh. Matches. A book of matches with a sticker on it that said Lauren Taylor, January 13th, 2026. Matches. I had 100 packs of matches. We invited 75 people. I wanted to have extras just in case. For like sparklers. 100 packs of matches. And they told me that I didn't supply a lighter. So I told her, you're right, I didn't supply a lighter. I supplied matches. This, as if it couldn't get any worse. She tells me, matches are too dangerous. Ma'am, your employee lit his hands on fire. What do you mean? I'm confused. What? So, my flappers were gasted, for sure. I didn't even know what to say to that. So, yeah, and then them blaming it on me, the bride, is crazy when none of it was in the contract. And I asked her, was this in the contract? Well, no, because you already signed the contract. I asked you about a sparkler exit on day 1 when we toured the venue. Day 1. And also, even if that were true, you can always add an addendum to a contract. There were a lot of things that went wrong with that venue, but that was the main thing. That was the main issue. And yeah, that was crazy. Like, it literally just fire. My videographer does have the video, but she told me I'm not allowed to post it online. So, sorry guys, you'll never see it. But you can use your imagination. Whatever you're imagining, I'm sure it's accurate. I'm sure. Yeah, that was crazy. So, now we've moved, and as you'll notice, this is not Amanda's couch. This is my couch in my apartment with my husband. We have an apartment now, and we were given a couch for free, and it was just a little love seat, and then we found this couch on Facebook Marketplace. Shout out to Facebook Marketplace. And now we have a nice sectional, and then we have our own apartment, and it's great. I love living not with my parents. It's a bop and a half. And moving was a challenge. You know, I think there's 2 things that you can do to know that your relationship will survive. move in together, like literally move your furniture yourselves together without movers, and go on an international trip. We did both within a month of our marriage. We moved in my furniture, and then we went on a European cruise, Mediterranean cruise through Europe for our honeymoon. So check. Our marriage survived. Was a challenge. We grew closer together because of it. And and marriage is a bop. I 10 out of 10 would recommend it, as long as you're married to the right person. Really choose wisely. Take your time. It's an important decision. Not only do you want to pick a husband, you want to pick a father of your children or mother of your children, depending on what situation you're in. And you want to know that if you called them and said, hey, I'm stuck on the toilet, one, that you feel comfortable saying, hey, I'm stuck on the toilet, and two, that they would drop everything and come save you from the toilet. Also think about like medical emergencies. If you lost a limb, if you got diagnosed with cancer, you want to know that that person is going to be with you. They're going to stick by your side. They're not going to just be like, oh, well, I didn't sign up for this. Please. It's a big decision. And Taylor's, you definitely count on him for all those things. Hopefully neither one of us will be losing any limbs or getting any cancer diagnosis soon. Or ever. Soon. What am I talking about? Ever. And we'll never have to know what that's like. But I know that he'd be there for me, and I know that I'd be there for him. And that's, like basic marriage 101. Be there for each other. And and then so I know I've talked about Pepper on the old podcast, my dog. She's my 5-year-old Australian Shepherd. And she's used to having my parents' dog at home with her. And we got a camera so we could watch her at the apartment when we were both at work. And she looked a little depressed. She did, and I felt bad. So I was like, we need to get her a doggy friend. And so now, if you can hear it, the one chomping in the background is Olive, our rescue Australian Shepherd mix. Her name was originally Miley Cyrus, which is super cute. I do love that for her. But I don't like it. I don't like giving dogs people names. I think it can be funny, but just not for me. So now she's Olive. She answers to Olive. And she's looking at me like, what, Mom? I'm chomping on my shark toy. Leave me alone. She's a cutie pie. And they are apparently, for the first time, actually today, obsessed with each other. They were snuggling on the couch over there. Now they're snuggling on the couch over there. Together. They're a package deal now, which is exactly what I wanted. They're best friends. That's all I could ever wish for my dog. So yeah. And ironically though, we got her a friend to have so that way she wouldn't be home alone while we're both at work. Ironically, I lost my job. So now I'm home a lot, which is why I decided to start the podcast, because now I have a lot of free time. But I am not completely jobless. I started my own business, massage therapy. So I think the last time we left off, I was still working at a spa. I left the spa. Things were so slow there. So slow. And I wasn't making like any money. So then I decided to look for other avenues. And you guys know that I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I have a very strong faith in Him. And so I was relying on Him to get me through this next chapter. And I found a job. Again, I'm not blasting anybody's small business. But I found a job doing assisted stretching. So if you've heard of Stretch Zone or Stretch Lab, it's like that, but it is a local business. I like to support local. I like to work with local businesses. I don't like working with corporations. They kind of lose their humanity the bigger the company gets. And I don't ever want to be involved in that. So, yeah, I found this local business. I started working there, and I was still working at the spa, and I was praying about it. Am I supposed to stay at the spa? Am I supposed to go to the stretching place full time? Like, give me a sign. What am I supposed to do? Then the owner of the stretch place calls me, and he says, hey, I know that we interviewed you for a part-time position, but we'd like you to be full-time. So I was like, oh, that's great. So I chose my full-time hours there. I told my spa manager that I needed to reduce my hours there, and they decided to just let me go. I was like, well, I guess there's my answer. I'm going to be full-time stretching, and I'll take a break from massage for now. So I was at the stretch place for about 7 months. This month would have been month 8, but I got let go. I got let go / quit. We'll get there. Around the same time that I got hired, right before I got hired, they hired a new receptionist. We're gonna call her Fozzie. Why? Because I want to. Okay? I'm glad we're on the same page. So, Fozzie is very young. She's in her early 20s. And she does not have, honestly, I don't think any experience doing reception or managerial. And there were several conflicts. We had a major conflict right before I went on my honeymoon. And when I came back from my honeymoon, she had been promoted to manager, my manager, and they changed my schedule without telling me. I was hired for a full-time position, and when I came back from my honeymoon, I look at my schedule, and half of my schedule is blocked off. So I sent her a text, and I said, hey, why is my half of my schedule blocked off? She said, oh, we're making changes to the schedule. We're reducing everybody's hours. We'll talk about it when you come for your next shift. Okay. I come in for my next shift, and they said that they just made this executive decision to just reduce everybody's hours. They don't want anybody working full-time. Okay, you hired me for full-time, and that's the reason why I left the spa, was to come here full-time. And after that conversation, it took a little bit of time, but they changed their minds, decided to let me be full-time again. But then, because they did that, I decided I was going to pursue my own business. So I said, no, thank you. You're too late. You made this choice for me. I had to figure it out. I figured it out. I started my own business. So you can just leave me part-time now. So we kind of finessed my schedule, figured it out. This was the last straw. Because it's always an issue where you tell Fozzie where you want your break to fall on your schedule, how often you want breaks, if you want 30 minutes, if you want an hour, whatever. We can make our own schedule. We have the freedom to make our own schedule, which was told to us from the beginning. No matter, like, if it's part-time, you can work, like, up to 25 hours. Those 25 hours can fall anywhere, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. However you want them to be, you find out how you want it to be. So, knowing that I could have full-time, I pretty much could work whatever hours I wanted. And if I wanted to have a 2-hour break in the day, I can have that because I'm in charge of my own schedule. So that's what I did, because Olive is still a puppy. She's only 1, and it was a new environment, and the dogs still, even now, even though it's been 3 weeks, they still need to be kind of supervised because she's a puppy. She doesn't know when to stop playing, which means that when we're not home, she's in a crate. And I don't like crating her longer than 4 hours. So if I go to work at 10, then I don't want her to be in the crate longer than like 2 p.m. Yeah, that makes sense. So if I put her in the crate at 9:45, really I want to take her out at 1:45. Well, if I'm going home, I might as well just have lunch at the same time. So I told her, really I need 90 minutes to go make the drive home, take the dogs out, play with them a little bit, because I don't want to take her out and then just put her back in the crate, and have my lunch. So just to be safe, let's do a 2-hour gap. So considering that we had this conversation on like a Wednesday, I wasn't expecting to happen that week, but she made it happen. Friday, I had a 2-hour gap from 12:30 to 2:30. Perfect. That's enough time for me to come home. I'll let Olive out of her crate, take the dogs out, and then she can hang out while I'm eating my lunch. The dogs can play. She gets like an hour to play around, just be out of the crate, stretch out, and then I'll put her back in. And then she's only in the crate for maybe 2 or 3 more hours until Taylor gets home. Worked out perfectly. So Friday, I go in for my shift. My first client's at 10 o'clock to 10:30, and then at 10:30 I was supposed to have an hour long. Well, they didn't show up. So I tell Fozzie I'm going to go get some snacks, from next door, and I'll be back. I come back, I have my little matcha that I bought, and my little snack in the back. I finish drinking, finish eating, decided to check my schedule to see what's next. I did also mention to her that if my next client wanted to come in earlier, obviously they could. So I wanted to see if she had called them, if they were going to come in earlier, if their appointment had moved on the schedule. Turns out that she just decided to move my first hour of my 2-hour lunch break up to 10:30. It's now 11 a.m. What? How am I supposed to have a break to go home and deal with the dogs, or eat my lunch at 10:30 in the morning, which makes no sense? How am I supposed to do that if my break started 30 minutes ago? I don't have enough time to go home anymore. So what am I going to do? Well, I go up to her desk and I say, Fozzie, this isn't going to work. You can't do that. If you moved my appointment or my break, you needed to tell me. And she was like, okay. She's like, it's fine. I'll just move it back. Well, then when I looked at the schedule, where she moved my break from, she had put another evaluation there, which is an hour appointment. So I get what she was trying to do. She was trying to help me make up the money. But my dogs are more important than the $25 I would have made in this hour. So, and just ask me, hey, do you want me to move your break to right now? And then I can fill that gap. Or when I came back from Publix, hey, I was able to fill, I was able to get you another eval, but half of your break has to be now if you want it. No conversation. None whatsoever. And this was a reoccurring issue. It's probably at least the 10th time we've had a conversation about her moving my break without telling me. And, technically in the state of Florida, she is allowed to do that. But it's not going to keep your employees happy if you keep doing that. Case in point. When she said that she was going to move it back to the way it was, that should have just been the end of the conversation. But unfortunately it wasn't. She decided to come to the break room and tell me why she did what she did, that she was trying to help me. And I'm like, I don't care. Why would you even do it in the first place? Why would you move it and not tell me? Then she starts, don't interrupt me. Do not speak until I'm done speaking. And I don't know if you all know this. I'm pretty sure you all do. That's not how a conversation works. Conversation is a back and forth. You say something, I say something. You say something, I say something. You respond to what I said, and I respond to what you said. And that's how a conversation works. Not one person going on a rant, and then the other person just being like, oh, okay, that sounds good. That's totally fine with me. Thank you. That's not how real life works. It's not how adults communicate. So she's like, I was trying to help you, and I was like, you're not helping me by moving my break. That's not helpful. She's like, I'm not finished. And at that point, I'm like, I'm so fed up with this job. I've had enough. Tired of being disrespected. And I'm tired of the owners telling me that I'm the problem. Telling me that I'm too sensitive, that I take things too seriously, blah, 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 blah. I tell Fozzie, I don't have to be here. I can just leave and you can just cancel me. And she said, okay, that's fine. And I'll just call the owner and tell him. I said, okay, sounds great. Goodbye. And I left. And then when I got home, I pulled into the parking lot. I sent her a long text about how I didn't appreciate what she did. I didn't appreciate how she treated me afterwards. That she doesn't take accountability for any of her actions. And she said, in so many words, that I basically quit by walking out. I said, I am not quitting. I will see you Wednesday. If the owner wants to fire me, that's his prerogative. And then the owner texted me and asked me if I was coming back. I said I would not be returning, and I made it very clear to Fozzie that I would not be returning. And that was kind of the end of the conversation. Monday rolls around, and I am expecting to have some sort of conversation with somebody. There's 3 owners. I'm expecting at least one of them to reach out to me to say, hey, let's have like some sort of exit interview. That did not happen. I got fired. I got my employment terminated over a text. And it came from the company phone. So I'm like 99% sure it was Fozzie that sent it, because she's the one that's in charge of the company phone. It's an iPhone. It's not like a office phone. And so I responded with, a text is diabolical. And they asked for their shirts back. Said I would bring them back. I still haven't, but I am going to get around to it. Actually, by the time you guys see this, I probably have returned them. I don't want them. They have the logo on it. It's not like I'm going to wear it out in public. I don't want to promote their business. If anything, I promote my own business. So, and that's the reason why I feel okay leaving this job. Another God thing, I prayed a couple days before that happened, and, telling God that I've been trying to start this business, trying to launch it, get it off the ground, and it just seems like I'm working really hard for it. I know that if I have to force something, it's not meant for me. Oh, hello, Olive. Everybody meet Olive. She just got yelled at for barking. Okay. So, my answer from God was that this is meant for me. The reason why I've been struggling with it is because I've been too distracted. So I said another prayer, and I asked God to remove any distractions from my life that was preventing me from being successful, and to allow His will to happen. And this happened, and I lost my job. So now I am just full-time focusing on my business, and I'm growing my clientele, and I'm officially like 1 week into it, and it's been pretty successful so far. I'm figuring things out. I got branding photos done with my new photographer that did my wedding photography, and that worked out. That was a blessing from God, because she had gone through some life events, which obviously I'm not going to get into because that's not my place to share those types of things. But yeah, and so I was like messaging her and checking in on her, and she was like, I'm so sorry it's taking so long for your photos. I promise I'll get them to you as soon as possible. And I'm like, girl, that's not why I'm messaging you. I'm genuinely just trying to check on you. And because I was kind and considerate and understanding, when I asked her if she would do my branding photos, she said yes, and I'm not going to charge you. So I got branding photos for free, which is amazing. I am gifting her a massage though, because everything she's been through, she needs a massage, and she knows a lot of people. She could get me some business, and it's just one small business owner supporting another small business owner, and vice versa. And so her name is Sydney Atkins, and her photography business name is Camden Captures. Her photography business name is Camden Captures, and she's amazing. If you need any kind of photos done, she's your gal. As you can see, from the wedding photos that I showed you. She's amazing. And we love her. And she'll probably be our photographer for like, as long as she's doing photography, she'll be my photographer. So, yeah, lots of exciting things. And I've got you guys pretty much all caught up. I guess disappearing for a while really gives you a lot to talk about later. Like I said, so much has happened. So there are a lot more stories. Like I said, my bridesmaids, work drama. I could tell you guys about my new business. There are so many stories that I could tell you. And I'll be back next week to tell you more. But if there's something that you really want to hear more of, then you got to tell me what it is. I want to give the people what they want. So, leave a comment, send a message, do whatever you want to do. Write me a letter. You don't have my address, but people sometimes figure that out. That's weird. Don't do that. You can send me an email. I guess I should get an email address for the new podcast. But yeah, just tell me what you want to hear, and I will tell you all the deets. So without further ado, welcome to Laura Logic, where the updates are messy, the tea is hot, and the logic, it's a little bit questionable.